We are the Gujarat Technological University. Since its inception over a decade ago, GTU has been empowering young and curating minds to realize their true potential. Over 4 lakh inspired students are enrolled with one of the premier academic universities in India. With more than 450 affiliated colleges in its fold operating across 5 zones of the state, GTU, the International Innovative University, your place to move forward.
Hello students, today we will discuss about the polarography. So first the question is like what is polarography, and this is the most important question in the GTU examination, like what is polarography. So it is an electrochemical technique of analyzing solutions that measures the current flowing between two electrodes inside the solutions as well as the gradually increasing applied voltage to determine respectively the concentration of solute and its nature. So it was first created by Jaroslav Jaroski, and so polarography analysis includes the method of analysis based on measurement of current electrolysis of an electroactive species at given electrode potential under control condition. So that is the main purpose of polarography. The best suitable example is the working electrode, that is dropping mercury electrode or static mercury electrode, which are useful for their wide cathodic ranges and renewable surfaces. So in this method, a reference electrode and indicator electrode are required. Same like potentiometer titration. A reference electrode which acts to maintain a constant potential throughout the measurement, and indicator electrodes assumes the potential impressed upon it from an external source. So here the one reference electrode is there illustrated over here, and indicator electrode. Example of mercury electrodes. These are the examples: hanging mercury drop electrode, dropping mercury electrode, and static mercury drop electrode. In G2 examination, the dropping mercury electrode is widely frequently asked. And what is that? So inside this electrode, mercury drops from at the end of the capillary tube as a result of gravimetry. Unlike the other electrodes, the mercury drop of DME gradually continuously as mercury flows from reservoir under the influence of gravity and has a finite lifetime of several seconds. At the end of its lifetime, the mercury drop is dislodged either manually or on its own and replaced by a new drop. And that is how the DME takes place using the drops. The drops is the main thing that is involved, and which carries the potential. So what is the principle? Uh, that includes the study of solutions or electrode processes by means of electrolysis with two electrodes, one polarizable and one unpolarizable. The former formed by mercury regularly dropping from capillary tube. So polarized electrode, that is the best example is the DME, and depolarized electrode, and that is saturated calomel electrode. So mercury continuously drops from reservoir through a capillary tube inside the solution. The optimum interval between drops for most analysis is between 2 to 5 seconds. So here is some illustration over here that how it look like uh, with different components of that DME. On that stand, we can see on top of that reservoir of mercury is there, and from that there is a inlet of nitrogen gas, counter electrode is there, reference electrode, that DME is there, and glass capillary is there. So here uh, one more illustration over here. On the downside of that one beaker, there is stir bar is there, and which is employed for the movement of the solution inside the beaker. And because of that movement of the solution will become uniform, and which is very necessary for the measurement purpose. So why mercury? Mercury as working electrode is useful because it displays a wide negative potential range. Its surface is readily regenerated by producing a new drop of film. Many metal ions can be reversibly reduced inside them. These are the main advantages of taking mercury. So after the performing of a polarographic analysis, we will get the results or data in the form of polarogram, and this data can be divided into three categories. First one, A, is a collective, referred to a residual current. B, that is referred to as a diffusion current resulting from reduction of the sample, and the third one is it is called the limiting current. So the first one, that is diffusion current of known. First one, as we can see over here, how the polarograph look like. On the one axis there is electrode potential is there, E, and on another axis current is there, that is I, that is measured in ampere, and E, that is in volt. So the diffusion current of a known concentration of reference standard are first determined, followed by determination of diffusion current of unknown concentration. And inside the polarogram, we have the IR, that is residual current, that is on the starting of that polarogram, which is the current obtained with no electrochemical change take place. So first, whenever the analysis will start, during the first phase of analysis, there is no any kind of changes take place. So the changes besides the electrochemical or the other processes, due to other processes, there is a residual current, and which is indicated by IR. IAV, average current limiting current, which is the current obtained by averaging current values throughout the lifetime of the drop. And ID, that is diffusion current, which is the current resulting from the diffusion of an electroactive species through the drop surface, which is very usual because of the electroactive species like metal ions, which is present in the drop surface. How we can start the process of DME? So we need to have the polarographic instrument, beaker, 10 ml pipette, wash bottle, and 100 ml volumetric flask. These are the materials that are needed to be included for the procedure. Reagents, these are the reagents that we have to included during the analysis. And these are the procedure, several steps that how we can perform the polarographic analysis starting from initial phase, initial step to the final step of the calibration curve. So these are the several advantages in the GTU. The questions will be like give advantages of polarography. So it is simple, sample handling is there, speed of analysis is very high, high sensitivity is there, comparable or better accuracy, cheaper instrumentation, and lower cost of chemical, and it has limited use of environmentally unfriendly organic solvents. These are the major advantages over other methods of polarography. This is the assay procedure of nirofentanyl nitrofurantoin oral suspension, and these are the several steps how we can measure the electrolyte or analyte inside the suspension using the polarography. This is a calculation how we can find the content of that nitrofuran twine using polarography. So what are the applications of polarography? That is pharmaceutical. That are the pharmaceutical applications. So it can be used for the analysis of dissolved oxygen peroxides, trace metals and metal containing drugs, antiseptics, insecticides, vitamins, hormones, antibiotics, alkaloids, blood serum, and cancer diagnosis. So these are the major applications of polarography. Colorimetric analysis is a type of electrochemical method also, and it is most widely used same as the polarographic analysis. It has some other principle involved. These are the illustrated diagrams over here. And Karl Fischer titration, as we know that the student has to know about that it is used for the measuring the amount of water present in the various materials like butter, sugar, cheese, paper, and petroleum. Thank you. This is the end of the lecture.